on what it is that they're going to be involved in, what they're going to get done, and what they're not going to get done. And frankly, I have never liked that idea of people being able to effectively get release time from teaching, because it seems to me that that's always the thing that we give release time from. And in fact, we call it buying out, you know, and so just the whole terminology stinks from my standpoint. I think that what we need to do as department heads, we need to get better at prioritizing what we're going to do as a collective, okay? What that means is then that we actually have got to decide what are the good things we're doing that we're going to quit doing so that our people have got time to do the really great things. When I was the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Bioresources, we knew we had to introduce new programs. And we could have done that the way we tend to do things at university, which is to, you know, somehow squeeze it in on top of what we're already doing. I said, and I stuck to it, we would introduce new programs, okay, and we would not introduce any new courses, because there just isn't room to do that. You just can't keep on adding on. So interdisciplinary, we added on. Using technology, we added on. To me, that's not the way to do it. There is a fixed amount of resources that we've got available, and we just have to get better at figuring out individually and collectively what it is that we're going to place our highest priority on and what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. Now, having said that, I think that there do need to be incentives, there need to be rewards, certainly, and people do need to be able to, for short periods of time, move out of some things that they were doing and then get back into them again. And so, yes, at the level of individual departments, we do have we do have that at the University of Saskatchewan.
Tyson, I'll just follow that up in that we have a fairly different model at SciAst in terms of when we hire our instructors and what would be considered to be their jobs. You would have our instructors tell you that they get no release time whatsoever for research. So research is not a key function within what they do and in terms of how SciAst sets up their model. So what we need to do is, if we take the model and say, for you to be, when you're working, 100% of it is based on the concept of teaching, then there isn't 110% to be had. And so because our model differs, that would be the concept of where we would provide relief time, where they don't do quite as much teaching so that they can do some online learning, but they're not getting the time for research or some of those other things. But having said that, we are taking job applications at SciAst.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're at our time, but I'm going to use my discretion as, well, whatever discretion I have, some would say not much, to allow one more question if there is one. Anybody got a burning question? One more. Okay, here we are, and then that'll be the end.
Hi, Anthony Voikin from SciAst. This morning, Dr. Bullen discussed the net generation and the reality and myth. I'm just wondering, specifically at each of your institutions, what is or isn't happening. One of the things you mentioned, I guess, was the importance of actually understanding the students at your institution. So what specifically is happening or not happening? What do you have planned at each of your institutions to attempt to understand the students that you currently have?
I can't believe we had time for one more question. No, thank you. That is a good question. I'll just try to start answering. I'll give my colleagues some time to think so that they can come up with a brilliant answer. But I know the net generation is really something that there are a lot of preconceived notions about who they are, what they know, what they expect, those kinds of things. And I think as institutions right now, we're really struggling because we have particularly students that are 50 years old that are coming back in that aren't very technology savvy. And then we have people that are coming in right from high school that are sequential learners, and they're very technology savvy in some cases. So we're already struggling with trying to reach that really broad range of types of students. And so I think we probably don't do the best job for any of them when you try to reach that much diversity. But certainly when it comes to understanding the students, I think that as institutions, some of the things that we do is we run focus groups with our students to find out things about online learning. Denise is running a research project for SciAst right now in terms of online learning in the virtual campus, just to say, are the kinds of things we're doing in our courses meeting your needs? Are they the kinds of things that you are getting good learning experiences from? What kinds of things are really not that great, and what kinds of things you wish there were more of? So we do a little bit of research from our existing students to find out how we're doing and what kinds of things that they might might need. But in terms of some of the upfront work, I think that's where we're a little bit shy. We talk about doing needs assessments, but I'm not sure that we do enough depth on our needs assessments to truly understand who we're dealing with.
Let me answer it indirectly, at least you get a sense of philosophy. I grew up on a small farm, and my dad knew every animal. He knew exactly how much milk Susie gave, and he knew the name of every animal. He knew their needs. He also knew I would say every square foot of ground on our very small farm, and he knew what it needed. Gradually over time, we got to where everything was treated as a herd, everything was treated as a big field, and we didn't know anything about the individual animal, and we didn't know anything really anymore about the individual piece of ground. But gradually, through technology, we've now got back to the place where we can now know a whole lot about every individual animal, even in a large herd, and we can know a whole lot about every square meter of ground in an even large field. And I think we're still behind the times yet at the university, at least